food price index continues to increase along with the general cost of living. Super freeze coming back to the States and Canada. We got mud volcanoes erupting, lakes mysteriously disappearing, and the drought in the grow belt of the U.S. onsetting. So what's going to happen to the price of food as we move through the rest of 2026? And as the world spins, it takes the belief of it's going to be better tomorrow for everybody to continue doing what they do to make tomorrow better. World Uncertainty Index reaching historical highs. Even a COVID-19 2020 is not remote. It's almost double the index uncertainty as it was in COVID. That's insane if it truly is. Like, what is going on that's creating this index to spike as such? But if you look at the cost of living index 2026, the chart reads like this. The average baseline at 100 is the cost to live in New York City. And it goes up or down from there. If it goes hot or red, it costs more to live than it does in New York City. If it trends toward the purples, it costs less than it does to live in New York City. So let's take a look. What does it cost you to live? The very lowest in the world, straight in the middle, 155 on the rank list there. Libya is the lowest cost living. I guess if you could deal with the problems, you can get an incredible deal living there. But I think it might not be worth it. Just my opinion. Europe sitting in the middle there. It actually costs less to live across many places in Europe than it does in New York City. The U.S. lower 48, that kind of is in general packaged as less costs, but still it's expensive compared to other places around the world. Now, this cost of living index has continued to increase year upon year, and it just doesn't seem like it's decreasing. This is just an average weight against everywhere else. But in terms of the rise, what it costs you to live, well, that's going to continue to go up. So here's your blueprint of maybe some escape destinations if it does get hyperinflated in the area you're living in. Up and up, cereal production, as in grains. 1960s, we got into that green revolution, and yields have been increasing ever since. That is a good thing because those dips that you see on the way up, stair stepping, those are droughts, things that are affecting the global output, wars, that sort of thing. But what's also increasing is this Fed food price index, and it seems to be that center line drawn. That is going to be the continuation curve for a better term. So it looks like as we march forward through 2026 and 27, it's just going to continue to get more and more expensive. And you go way back in 2023, you're down at 320. Now we're up at 345. Go back to like 2018, you're way down in the sub 200s. You know, it's so interesting how it continued to go up, and expensive is the new normal. Get used to it. You've seen this chart before. National debt in the U.S. is expected to rise 2.4 trillion per year over the next 10 years. They say it's going to eclipse 39 trillion in 2026. I'm going to say that's a little low. I'll bring you some charts here. Just the interest for us to service the debt is costing well over $1 trillion per year. And they're going to have to refinance an enormous amount. If you see at the bottom of the chart where it says implied added annual cost, one line above that is the refinancing index, which means we need to pay people more money to hold our debt, which is going to drive the money we got to repay them. $192 billion straight in the center column, added interest cost right at the top there. Big numbers for you, 192B. Yeah, that's what's going to cost extra. So we are going to be printing more money. And again, VisiTech.ai throwing out data made simple. You can enter whatever you like. It'll spit you out a chart. U.S. national debt is going to continue along this curve as well. And if we back it out a little bit, that's where we go. We're going to hit 40 trillion in June of this year. So that's why I say that 39 trillion was a bit of an underestimation. And we'd probably be better off if Y2K had actually ruined all of the computers back in the year 2000. So all metrics are pointing to everything just continuing that slow grind, more expensive as we go through cost of living, daily cost of life, and food and housing. It continues to grind, even though property prices and home prices are declining. People are still asking more for rent. It's just going to be a continuous grind. On January 5th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Energy announced $2.7 billion in contracts to restore domestic uranium enrichment capabilities. On January 14th, the U.S. administration showed their support again. The White House invoked Section 232 via an executive order, a formal declaration of U.S. resource independence. It's a mandate. Energy security is now synonymous with national security. And the U.S. government is deploying its full physical and regulatory arsenal to secure the nuclear fuel cycle within North America. Here's the reality. The U.S. consumes over 50 million pounds of uranium annually, but produces less than 1 million pounds domestically. That means we're dependent on foreign suppliers for 98% of our uranium, a critical vulnerability for national security, power generation, and advanced defense systems. This is where Atomic Minerals comes in, trading on the TSX venture under ATOM Atom, and in the United States, OTC under ATMMF. The leadership includes members who were behind the discovery and $654 million sale to Rio Tinto, an exit about 59 times larger than Atomic Minerals' current valuation. You do the math. Atomic controls 4 100% owned uranium projects strategically located in the Colorado Plateau. Trading at an 87% discount to the peer group average, the company presents potential upside as the market begins to recognize its strategic asset and proven management team. Uranium prices have surged, and some analysts project they could reach $100 per pound as demand outpaces supply. Atomic Minerals isn't waiting. The company has drill programs underway with exploration results pending and government support accelerating. With a government mandate, an experienced management team, and strategic uranium assets in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, Atomic Minerals is a company I'm watching closely. If you want to learn more about this critical minerals story and the team that already delivered big results, click on that link in the description. And a special thanks to Atomic Minerals for making today's video possible. That's atomicminerals.ca. That's why that was a real important chart to look at, was that cost of living chart. You know, if you're going to hit that escape button and get out of here because something's gone wrong on the hyperinflation side eventually in the future, allegedly, that there are some escape points that you might look that would be friendly toward your, say, lifestyle, whatever it is. Some places are great for hiking. Some are great for skiing. Some are great for chilling on the beach. Others are great for working online. Nomad hubs, that sort of thing, whatever you're into, there's something for you out there on the rest of the planet to explore. So just think about that in the back of the mind. But where are you going to go? Have a plan. But you might be slip sliding on the ice. Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia, over and in North Carolina, heavy ice again. Now, even with all the ice storms down south, taking down power lines, especially in Oxford, Mississippi, this is another one. The totals are unknown at this point, but it's going to be on that same category level with damage to the power infrastructure if it maintains with the freezing rain as it shall be. Just an early warning, this is for the 4th of March coming up at you here. Also, the super freeze is coming back. These temperatures are ground temperatures Fahrenheit, and this will be for the 2nd of March. New England, Northeast again, it's looking like 16 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. So sub-zero temperatures are coming back, single digits in so many places. And I guess if you enjoyed the cold, this is one of the last times you'll get to experience it, as things look like it's going to continue to warm generally in through March, but still sub-zero temperatures. That's no joke. Let's talk snowfall. So far this season, this goes on the scale from 0, as in no inches on the ground, all the way to 12 feet. If you carefully view the map, every state in the lower 48 has had snow this year that's measurable enough to be on this map. Hawaii as well. In Mauna Kea, they had Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea, they had massive snowstorms this year. So that also took another one. And then obviously Alaska, snow every year. So all 50 states would have snowfall so far this year. Interesting one coming out here. Ben Knoll putting this one out from the Washington Post. Let's talk snow and ice. Chesapeake Bay frozen in 1977 satellite image for you here. Delaware Bay to the north and the east, far on the right, top of the chart. You got Baltimore, Washington, Potomac River freezing. Look at the icebergs coming out of there. Ice flows. And the Chesapeake Bay, hard freeze, pack ice in there. Barely keeping the channel open out of Baltimore. Let's flip you from ice to fire. The mud volcano in Colombia, incredible explosion. And this is the raging, continuing inferno. But when it first started, it looked like this. So that would just spook me if I just something in the middle of the forest just started rolling in a giant fireball like this. And then at the same time, the ground cracks opened. And it seems to be a definitely larger geologic event than just around the mud volcano. This is some miles away from that. Staying in Colombia, massive floods. Now, keep in mind, February is one of the driest months of the year in Colombia's Cordoba region department. So, this is what it looks like pre flood. You got the Sinu River, and we're going to be looking to the west of that or to the left of the Sinu River, as well as where it says Colombia right there. And wow, this flooding is so out of the ordinary, it's completely in the wrong season. And this seems to be happening to a lot of things in a lot of places. This is also a new standard that is becoming, well, the new standard. Things are in the wrong times of the year. So the winds are in the wrong place at the wrong time of the year. The speed of the wind, like right now in the southern hemisphere, they're having a vast amount, huge amount of tornadoes, hailstorms, and these what you would consider springtime events. In fall, heading into winter, we're heading into spring, so we could expect that our wind flows are going to be up here, are going to be disrupted as well, and massive, hail events are going to be coming in. A lot of tornadoes. The winds are behaving strangely. Rainfall patterns as well. It transits into snowfall. Japan broke a 247-year snowfall record. Russia broke a 205-year snow record. We got record cold that broke all-time records down in Cuba. It went to exactly freezing at 32 Fahrenheit. That had never been recorded ever. Cuban history goes back quite a few years to the 1400s, but official records, thermometers back then, not as precise as today. So many things are discombobulated. And then the sand coming off the Sahara is amplified this year as well. There's an enormous amount of sand, so I don't know how that'll work for hurricane suppression. But wrong place, wrong time, wrong season. So how do you plant and harvest on a reliable date working with those new conditions? That's the question. And bringing it up to Quebec, Lake Rouge vanished. You're looking at it right there in the center. I like the concentric rings in there too. What happened with that? Some sort of displacement. Lake Rouge. And then something caused a catastrophic rupture, as you can see, about 2 o'clock position, and then it rolled out. So what was the disruption cause on that? Because lakes generally draining, not normal. I mean, it's at ground level anyway, so something had ripped it apart from beneath. Again, we're looking at these mud volcanoes, cracks, fissures. Is there something also happening in the North Magnetic Field wise that is also, how many lakes? They got almost 1 million lakes in Canada. I think it's like 870,000 or something. Like, how many of those are not monitored? This is a huge lake. So how many have disappeared that are not monitored? That could be another question. And speaking of things being exposed, is that Nebuchadnezzar? Is that Anunnaki in a clay vessel in Sumeria? I think it is. Babylonian coming back at you. Fortuna, cuneiform text, just bringing the ancient back in. Before we head to Texas, the Great Wall of Texas, buried wall. If you don't know about this, highly encourage you to do some research on it. This wall runs for some dozens of miles, and it goes down about 100 feet, a wall built. And how did it get buried in? This thing is an anomaly in itself. The research, when you really get deeper into it, will surprise you. The reason I'm talking about Texas, drought and development pressures leave central Texas farmers struggling for water. So I thought, all right, well, first, let's go take a look at the current river stages of the Mississippi River and generally the Grow Belt, Ohio River Basin, Missouri River Basin, all these things. So here's what you're looking at. Low water is shown in those brown dots in a few places, not outrageous. But unfortunately, the map does not have Texas on there. But what it does have, if we jump over onto the soil moisture conditions, this is really important for planting because this is down 3 feet under the ground. So how much water is under the ground? Surface, okay, that's great. But really, those roots, when they get down, they're going down a little bit deeper. They're not just like in the first 1 inch. They're going down feet into the ground. So the soil moisture anomalies are already starting to show across our grow belt. And the drought monitor, that continues to intensify as well. There's some hot spots already, especially through Florida. Wildfires this year are going to be crazy if rain doesn't pick up. Southern Georgia, and then what it shows right there in southern Texas, verifying the need for AI data centers drawing water and humans as well in these drought conditions. So the last slide here for you tonight. The areas and grids of risk that won't have enough power for people and AI data centers right here, front and center. This is your forecast to 2030. Anywhere in red, your power bills are going to be doubling and tripling as those data centers outbid you unless they somehow magically create their own power production facilities. But I'm not sure how that is going to happen in less than 4 years. These things are real issues to work through. I mean, these companies can outbid any of us at any time indefinitely to get those same resources. Water and electricity. Hey, has your water bill gone up? Is your electric bill gone up? If your answer is yes, that's why. And the red zones here are the hot zones, and these are just going to continue up and up and up. So we're going to rewind back to the very first charts. The trend is up on that baseline. So what can you do to cut cost? Well, you could grow some of your own food. It is spring coming in. Get your garden on. TrueLeafMarket.com. Heirloom and organic seeds for any grow zone on the planet. That link's in the description box below. Every purchase you make helps keep this channel on air, bringing you more information just like this, because we all need to find the solutions together. We're all in this together, and the world's changing around us so fast. It's almost, numbing how fast it's moving. But I'm just doing the best I can to keep you updated. And if you have any solutions, leave them in your comments below and let's discuss them. Please share with your friends and family, because the algorithm's none too kind with this type of information. You got to copy that link, paste it, and send it out to others. But I will see you next time. Bye for now.